Support for The Gaming Outsider is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEGOCAST at manscaped.com. Happy Halloween, Go listeners. On episode 369, Zack and CB join me in sharing ours and our listeners' favorite use of popular music in video games. In news, the Uncharted trailer dropped this week, and we finally have a release date for the GTA Remastered Trilogy. You'll also hear our impressions of Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy, the Crysis Trilogy Remastered, and a language learning app for your phone called Influent. This is The Gaming Outsider. Greetings, programs, and welcome to episode 368 of The Gaming Outsider, a video game podcast with a focus on our incredible community. It's Monday, October 25th. I'm your host, Scott Clark, and joining me are my friends, Zack Parkerson. What's up, man?
Never gonna give you up.
That was random. Did you just rickroll me in the intro?
That's not random at all. This is about needle drops.
That's true. That's true. We're going to talk about needle drops.
Brand. Come on.
Has that song ever been used in a video game, or will we find out later?
Well, and maybe in a game releasing this very week.
Maybe. Also joining us, the proud owner of a new arcade cabinet, Mr. Chris Berensmeyer. What's up, man?
Not much, and just so you know, I'm never going to let you down.
I'm never going to give you up.
You just got for me now.
Or any of my Pixar movies.
Jesus.
What? Oh, my God. Well, you can tell who's the teacher in the room.
With the terrible dad jokes.
I'm sorry. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, CB, you want to tell everybody the little story about your new arcade cabinet, which is your third, by the way?
Technically, it is actually my fifth.
Okay.
So Scott gave me a call the other day. Hey, a relative is moving, and there's this random arcade cabinet in her basement. Would you want it? And I'm like, yeah. Like,
well, technically, we want it, for R2D2 purposes.
Yeah, but who's going to be the one in charge of putting it back together and all that?
Well, yeah, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay, there you go. So I go over there and check this thing out. It is currently a Toki cabinet, which is not a super great game, but it's still decently fun.
I don't know what
Which
Toki
is ironic because I just bought that game. I bought the Nintendo version of Toki for my collection recently, something like 3 weeks ago. I just got that game.
What is Toki? What is Toki?
It's a platformer, side-scrolling platformer where you play a monkey.
Okay.
You play as a human turned into a small monkey that goes around and jumps on creatures' heads and shoots spheres at bosses.
It's really pretty involved
basically
narrative.
it's crappy Mario with better graphics.
It actually does have pretty decent graphics for.
It's super solid graphics.
Yeah.
So first off, a quick background on this game. It did not start as a Toki cabinet.
Yeah.
It was originally a Zaxxon cabinet, which was then converted to a Super Zaxxon cabinet, and then converted to Mr. Doo's Castle before finally becoming Toki.
Yeah.
So
are you gonna try to put Zaxxon back into it, or are you gonna?
I am currently working on getting a Zaxxon board.
Okay.
So it's gonna need a few other things. I'm gonna have to replace the play deck on it because it's not
It's a normal joystick.
Yeah, it's a normal joystick, but at the same time, the deck that's on there is not in great shape.
Gotcha.
I want to put the original side art back on and everything, but so we had to move this thing. And for those of you that have never moved an arcade cabinet before, they are stupidly heavy.
Really heavy.
Stupidly heavy is definitely an understatement. I'd say this thing probably is like almost 600-700 pounds.
Yeah, and it was in a basement, so we had to move it up 13 stairs into a kitchen, and this house is very poorly designed in terms of.
It was made in the 1950s.
Yeah,
that's all you got to say.
So here's the crazy part of it. We couldn't get the dolly under the arcade cabinet, so we had to.
We could get the dolly under it, but we couldn't get it to the stairs.
Right.
So we made the brilliant decision to hand lift this thing up 13 steps.
So Chris Berensmeyer and I moved an arcade cabinet from a basement without the use of a dolly, and Chris almost died.
Yeah. So
not even exaggerating.
We got it up 10 stairs, and then Scott's like, My hands are slick. I need to go get gloves. And leaves me on the steps by myself holding this cabinet. And I'm on the bottom, by the way. Scott was steadying this thing from the top.
Oh, I was lifting. You shut your mouth.
Not nearly as much as I was.
No, I know, but still.
So
I'm like, are you sure you have it? Do you think you can have it? Because
I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
He's like,
Scott
no worries.
Leaves.
So I leave and go out to my car. I come back, and my wife's grandma is in the living room, and she's like, I heard a noise. I think things aren't okay. So
nice of her to check it out.
Well, the biggest problem was old carpeted stairs.
Yeah.
And so this thing was resting, and because Scott was not holding the top anymore to kind of keep it balanced, it tipped back and started to slide down the stairs. I lost like 2 stairs before I finally got a grip on it, but I'm sitting there holding this thing on slick carpet, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, Scott, you got to get here quick, because otherwise I'm going to hop on this thing and just ride it down the stairs.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I got there, we got it up there and got it out into his truck and back to his house, and we're going to have to move it again this weekend.
Yeah, we have to move it again this weekend. Woohoo! Fun.
That was an adventure for sure. So, and I still haven't even played it because I could not get it to play.
Yeah, I did figure out partially what's going on. It's the way it boots up, you have to check some of the dip switches to put it into free play mode.
Gotcha.
So I've played it a little bit. It's still not a great game, but it's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. And like I said, you can make something great out of it. So stay tuned for our next R2V2 because you can come play whatever is in that machine, hopefully. Because I'm excited. I mean, arcade machines are fun, so I'm not looking forward to moving the other ones out of your basement. You got a Galaga machine, you got a Neo Geo machine that's like even heavier than that.
Well, the Neo Geo machine that used to be an original Gauntlet, so that thing's stupid heavy.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Scott, would you like me to feign a medical emergencies and that you have to come and rescue me from so you can get out of that?
That would be great, man.
Perfect.
I was supposed to go up to Milwaukee for EXP Cast to do nothing but play video games all day on Saturday. I was gonna just sit and play Far Cry 6 all day, and instead I canceled those plans and I'm gonna help move all day. So
that's why you shouldn't have friends.
Quick other note that I forgot for those of you in the Northern Illinois, Wisconsin area, November 5th, I believe, Midwest Gaming Classic. I'm going to be there. I don't know about Scott, but
it's the first I heard about it, so I'll have to look at my calendar and see what's up because my weekends are filling up for the end of the year, like the holiday season already. It's just nuts how much stuff is going on, but. Anyway, CB, you've been gone for a week. You took the week off last week, so what you been catching up on?
Well, I've still been plugging away at Far Cry. I'm currently packing up everything, getting ready to move to a new house. So I haven't had as much time to game, but I've been playing some more Far Cry 6.
So have I. I love this game.
How is Mr.
Phenomenal.
Esposito doing?
He's very, very Breaking Bad.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just like he was in The Mandalorian, and just like he was in everything.
Yeah. Pretty much. But you see him a lot at the very beginning of the game, and then until you get to the major cutscenes and stuff, you don't see him too much. You just hear his voice and propaganda recordings when you go like overtake bases and everything. And it's kind of cool hearing his voice on like a loudspeaker. So.
Yeah.
By the way, I had to
record a bunch of dialogue for that.
I had to tell you, CB, I didn't realize how crazy the cockfighting was that you talked about. I finally got to that. Zack, he's not joking, man. It's a straight up fighting game to the point where they do final round, fight. And then like there's a character selection screen where you pick your rooster. Like, I mean, it's straight up a fighting game built in.
I mean, this sounds more offensive than anything that's ever been in Grand Theft Auto.
It's kind of. I only did it once just because I wanted to see if he was making it up, and he's not.
I'm not trying to publicly shame you. It's just like, what a horrific thing.
It is. It's Street Fighter Rooster Edition.
I can't wait till they have to level this up in Far Cry 7 with just straight up dogfights.
Right. But I mean, they even have the flourish of a fighting game where like so and so versus so and so, and they have the announcer voice, and you're playing as a rooster.
In this sensitive time, how is there not 1,600 articles across the usual suspects about this?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the fact that even like if you beat the other rooster, the rooster will sit there and taunt between rounds.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
I'm
not trying to be a soapbox person. It's just I am surprised that this is not headlines.
I am as well, because maybe it's because it's I don't even think you have to do it. No,
it's very optional.
It's very optional. It's not like it's something that you have to do, but I saw it and I was like, I got to see how crazy this actually is, and it's nuts.
You actually can't even straight up do it. Like, you actually have to seek out a rooster.
Yeah, you have to go find a rooster
to pick up to fight. So they make it so you have to work to do it.
This is dark.
It is.
But that's also the point where you get to actually do something with Chorizo for the first time. So you have to follow him around on these little treasure hunts, which is kind of adorable. This dog with no back legs going around digging up and giving you treasures.
Chorizo is the best.
Does he have to viciously murder his own species for the joy of humans around him?
No, I'm saying this does the opposite effect. I was trying to lighten the mood a little bit. But yeah, I'm enjoying this game. I finally got a decent sniper rifle. Oh, and Sibu is not wrong. The pistols in this game are broken in terms of you don't need any other weapon other than this. I got this one pistol. It's like a level 3 pistol, and that's all I need anymore. I don't even try to stealth anymore.
Wait till you get a level 4 pistol, and you're like, I'm going to take on a tank just for the sheer fun of it.
It's really annoying. I'm getting this GoldenEye effect when I get to some of those. No, not in a good way.
Oh.
When you're doing some of those checkpoints, where you get these checkpoints that you have to overtake, I don't even know what to do at some points because they'll set off an alarm, a helicopter shows up, I use my, what do you call your backpack thing again? I can't remember what it's called.
The Extremo? Or...
Extremo? Is that what it's called?
Something like that.
Anyway, it's like this backpack that shoots rockets out of it. It'll take down a helicopter, no problem, but then a tank will show up.
What is this game Saints Row?
It's getting close.
It's really feeling like it.
It's getting close, man. And then a tank shows up, and then trucks show up, and I'm like, when does this end? And I just have to keep killing guys, picking up ammo until I get the one that I was supposed to kill, and then it says, how it does a slow-mo thing in Far Cry games where when you finished a base or whatever.
Sure.
But it's just never-ending enemies until you kill the one that you're supposed to, and you never know which one you're supposed to.
Or it's usually you have to break the billboard that's sitting there.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, you have to break the billboard that's sitting there because you're destroying the propaganda.
Oh my god. All I had to do was break the billboard. I seriously took down 3 tanks and 2 helicopters.
Yeah, you just shoot all the guys that are normally there and then shoot the billboard and break the billboard.
Oh my god. Okay, I'm dumb.
So glad I could help, bro.
Oh, that was driving me crazy. I'm getting to the point where I'm getting the Skyrim effect a little bit too, where I don't even know what the main quest is anymore because I'm just doing nothing but side stuff because I'm enjoying it. Like I'm obviously not reviewing this game. I'm just playing it because I want to play it because I enjoy it. This is my, we talked last week, Zach, about games as therapy. This is a game as therapy for me because I just love chipping away at that map and clearing off that fog of war and turning all those red enemy points blue for the good guys. You know what I mean? Like that's just
finding all the roosters.
I haven't tried finding roosters. There's so much to find though. There's like I'm a decent amount in. I'm probably played 5 or 6 hours, and then I come across like, oh, now there's fishing spots that you can unlock, and now there's posters that you can take down, and
and the races.
The races. I did a Wave Runner race, and then did you get one of those chests that you have to like follow the breadcrumb trail of things to be able to find 2 pieces of a map that open up the? Have you done those yet?
I've found a bunch of them.
Those are pretty fun actually because you have to. I did one at night though, so trying to follow the signs at night is really tough. I wish there was a time forward mechanic so that I could kind of how they do those in other games where you can like fast forward 8 hours like in Fallout or something. But
yeah.
I'm really enjoying the game. I'm really enjoying the characters. I love which area did you go to first?
I went to the farming area first.
the farming area to the just to the
all
east
the way
a little bit?
all the way to the west.
Well, I mean, there's basically 3 places you could start at. Like, which character did you go talk to first?
The Monteros.
Yeah. So you met Philly?
Yeah.
Philly's a great character. I love Philly.
Yep. I've actually completed that area. I'm on the middle area now.
Okay. All right. So they do what they do in Far Cry 5, where you got 3 different areas you can go to and go in any order you want, and I like that. So, gorgeous game, by the way.
Yeah, it really is.
It really does look good. The weapons feel great. The pistols obviously feel awesome. I thought you were making it up, man. Like, I thought you were just getting really good at headshot. You don't even need the headshot, man. You just do 5 or 6 rounds and just treat your handgun like a machine gun, and you're fine.
Oh yeah.
Far Cry is a lot of fun.
So I've been playing that. I've been plugging away at the new Dead Cells DLCs.
All right, still doing that.
Wow, that game is significantly harder now.
Really?
Yes.
What do they do to make it harder?
Just bosses, like different fight patterns, a lot more weapons. That game is nuts.
It's actually exciting to hear because I found that it was a little bit, the bosses at least were a little simple when I played it.
Oh no, they've ramped it up. I've probably put a good 5 hours in. So I've unlocked a bunch of stuff and I still have not beat one of the new bosses. They are hard.
That's awesome.
I'll
still probably never play it again, but it's still awesome.
Oh, it's definitely my time sink game because my other time sink game, Story of Seasons, I beat it.
Nice.
So yeah, I rolled credits on a Harvest Moon style game.
Which Story of Seasons is it again?
The one that's about to come out on like Xbox.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
a recent one.
Story of Seasons, Pioneers of Olive Town, I think it is.
I think it's also Friends of Mineral Town or something, right?
Yeah. That's the one that's just before the one that I'm playing. So, but I think Pioneers of Olive Town is coming. So, but rolled credits on that. Man, that game it's fun.
How many hours do you think you put into that game?
Probably 200-ish.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I say that, and I did that on Fallout 4 easily, or Fallout 3 back in the day, so I can't talk,
but mwah.
Yeah, you like it, huh?
It's very Harvest Moon.
Nice. I checked out Skull the Hero Slayer this week as well. If you guys remember, Kevin, one of our writers, wrote a review on that on the Steam version of the game, which I picked up because it was actually on Mac, and for the life of me, I could not get my controller to play this game. I could get past the title screen, it would do the title screen with the controller, and then I could never control anything ever again. So that was frustrating. But Kevin was nice enough to gift me a copy of it because he wanted me to play the game so badly. So I played it on Xbox this week.
Kevin's good about that.
Kevin's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's a good DM too. So you had questions about this game, Zach. You had said something on a tweet or whatever that like you want to know more about it. Were you intrigued by this? I didn't think you liked this kind of game.
I mean, no. Honigford has been talking it up for, I feel like, as long as it has existed.
Yeah, he has. It's an interesting game. It is a 2D platformer with melee combat. You also have some magical abilities. It's a roguelike. You go through as much as you can, try to take down a boss, and when you inevitably die, you go back and you can turn in your currency. You can turn in your these little gems for different skill trees, basically, and try it again and get further and further. What this game does a little bit differently is the way that you actually can choose a path that you want to take, because it's obviously randomly generated. So a door will either give you a path to gold, which you can obviously use in the shop. It will give you a path to these gems, which are things that you can do for permanent upgrades in your skill tree. Or you can do a path for skulls, which are detachable. Like you can take your skull off and put a different skull on, and you have completely different abilities. But it's only for that run. So it makes for an interesting path choice. And the combat it feels very Guacamelee. Did you ever play Guacamelee or Guacamelee 2? I want to say Guacamelee 1 more, where it feels more like an arena fight in 2D. So you just have to position yourself on the correct side of the enemies and and you have to know the patterns. It's my kind of game for sure. I think I enjoy like a Rogue Legacy better in terms of the that has more like a gear gated feel to it in terms of its level structure. This one I don't feel like I really know where I'm going. It's just more or less each segment is a point A to point B. But I am digging it. I really am enjoying it, and it's if it weren't for Far Cry 6, I think I'd be playing that a lot more. I'm hopelessly addicted to Far Cry 6, and that's all I want to be playing right now, which is unfortunate because there's so many things to play right now. So anyway, I'm digging it. I'm not sure you'd like it, Zach.
I don't think
I don't think you would, just because of the skill tree aspect of it. There's not a ton of story, but I am enjoying it. I'm enjoying it, and CB, you would like it too. You would like it.
Cool.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into the week's news. Got a couple new trailers this week. First off, a game called Drifting Weight of Feathers, which is coming to Steam on December 15th. Made by one developer. Single man did this entire game. Looks pretty interesting. Also, we got a new campaign trailer for Halo Infinite, which releases on December 8th. That is coming up very soon. Also, we got an official release date for the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, the definitive edition. We got the first film trailer for the Uncharted movie released this week. Also, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine are coming to Fortnite. There are some people that are probably excited about that. And remasters of Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 are finally coming to consoles next month. CB, you've been gone the longest. Which story would you like to talk about?
Well, we'll just tackle the trailer of Uncharted.
All right, let's start there.
Oh, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how this conversation will go.
I think this looks fun.
Same.
I think it does too.
Oh man, this is not the reaction I was hoping for. You know what? I hate it. Let's fight.
Well, the contention in our Facebook group and Discord is that it looks like a fun movie, but the characters don't remind them anything of Nathan Drake or Sully. How do you guys feel about that?
Well, I'm in a unique position because I haven't played the games.
Oh, that's a great point.
You know what you need to do, man, is you need to hold off on playing those games until you've seen the movie and play the games after you've watched the movie, because
I plan on it.
That would be a great episode. We need to have that conversation.
Instead of like reading the book before the movie, I can sit here and watch the movie before I play the game.
Yeah.
So I was sitting here because from what I've seen, I'm like, this looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that whole sequence with like the stuff coming out of the back of the plane and him climbing up, that's like straight out of Uncharted 3, isn't it?
Correct.
Zach?
Yep.
Like that scene happens. And
yes. So the thing you used to interact with, you can now watch passively.
There's the cynicism. There it is.
But no, it looks like a lot of fun. It kind of reminds me of if you were to take like the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movie and smash it into one of the original like Indiana Jones movies.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure the game developers would probably appreciate that connection.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the only reason I say that is because it looks like,
I mean, that's what the games are. Right?
True. But I mean, it looks like some dumb fun comedy that you would get from like the Tomb Raider movie, but at the same time, like a little bit of grittiness from the Indiana Jones. So I don't know. Like, it looks like fun. I'm gonna see it. I'm always hopeful that video game movies will be good. But
yeah, I'm always cautiously optimistic. I mean, Tomb Raider was good, right? We all like that one.
The Alicia Vikander one?
Yeah.
I like it. I like either. I like the Angelina Jolie one too.
I like the first one, not the second one.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, the second one is bad.
Hot trash.
Garbage. The first one's fun and has Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Did not know that. Oh yeah, I did. I did actually finally watch that one a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
if you would like a more dedicated Uncharted fan's opinion, I did not hate Tom Holland, and I thought that I would. I do hate Mark Wahlberg.
You hate Mark Wahlberg as Sully? That one doesn't look right to me.
He's not acting like Sully at all. He's just Mark Wahlberg. which is what he is in every movie, and I assume that's why you cast Mark Wahlberg, because as a famous quote from a producer, I cannot remember which producer, it might have been Joel Silver, who's like, Mark Wahlberg puts asses in seats.
Yeah.
No matter,
okay.
No matter.
Who would you replace him with?
I mean, honestly, CB, the original casting when this movie was announced 10 years ago of Robert De Niro as Sully and Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake was perfectly fine by me.
Well, I meant like right now. Who would you
know.
replace him with now?
I do not know. I would give.
Sully's...
I would at the very least write into Mark Wahlberg's contract that he has to have the mustache.
They'll just Henry Cavill it in.
It's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous he doesn't have the mustache. It's the one iconic thing about the character.
Hey, look at this one.
And the cigar.
That would be like Tom Holland not having Nate's ring around his neck.
Right. Or the half tuck.
It's just silly, and it screams of, an egotistical actor who's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Possibly.
Maybe.
I'm with you on Mark Wahlberg as Sully. I understand that he's supposed to be a young Sully and he's not going to look exactly the same, but Sully just comes across gruffer to me than anything that Mark Wahlberg's doing, and who knows, maybe he'll grow into the role or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, Sully thinks he's a lot slicker than he is,
Yeah.
Like, Mark Wahlberg just looks like he's being slick.
Yep.
It's just, there's just... But there is one moment in the trailer where that guy's speaking that heavy accent, and Tom Holland goes, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's Nathan Drake. Look at that.
I don't have a problem with Tom Holland either, and I know a lot of people do. But to me, he's young Drake. Now, would I have rather they started this with the Drake we know and love? Probably.
Definitely.
But to me, he's pulling off a young Drake quite well, because Nathan Drake is not Indiana Jones. He's not cool. He's not suave. He's borderline bumbling idiot at times, right?
Well, he's almost like an idiot savant, right? Because when it gets to the actual tombs and puzzling, he can figure it out. But other than that, he's really just buffooning his way through things.
Yeah, I am really digging Tom Holland as Drake, as young Drake.
Yeah, no,
I could see him growing into the character as he ages. Like, I'm excited about the possibility of this being a series. I really am.
Yeah,
I'm saying that I haven't seen the movie, so
I do think the prologue portion of Uncharted 3 being your main source of inspiration is definitely an interesting move, but
considering it's like young Drake, and that was 3 games after he was already an adult.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little strange, but I don't hate it. And I know a lot of Uncharted fans are kind of annoyed that like there are different set pieces from different Uncharteds all mixed together here, but I think it was smart of them just like to grab the greatest hits. I don't care.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the exact same story.
Yeah, exactly. It's an adaptation.
But we'll definitely be, and this is exclusive to theaters. This is not going to be one to stream. So CB, guess what? Valentine's Day, you're my date.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little birthday treat for me.
But before we go on, because I'm also on the train of like I've had enough of Mark Wahlberg for a while.
Yeah.
You know who I would have put there? Bryan Cranston.
See, he's too old.
I de-age him a little.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. Just make it Giancarlo Esposito, right? He's in everything now.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I mean, it could have been Chris Pratt since he's in everything.
Oh, that would have been miserable.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I don't know who you cast, but maybe Ted.
I don't know.
Throw Ted Danson in there.
Got to remember too. I mean, and I know this is a bit of a reach, but you remember the first time that we were told that Heath Ledger was going to play the Joker?
Of course. Yeah. Well,
and we all were like,
well, with comic book casting, I'm over getting worried, but I'm not as secure with video game casting.
Okay.
Movie casting,
fair.
right? Like, we haven't had the Heath Ledger moment for video game adaptations yet.
That is absolutely true. Although Alicia Vikander was,
but I never doubted her.
That's true.
She was an Academy Award winner.
Yeah. Deus or Ex Machina.
Yeah. What a film.
Man, that movie was good. That was a great film. Anyway, Zach, what story would you like to talk about?
I actually would like to cut to the Halo Infinite campaign trailer, if we might.
All right.
Boy, this took the wind right out of my sails, guys.
Really?
I think I got depressed. Because I like the universe of Halo. I think it's really cool, and for my age group, right, like it is the perfect game series that you kind of grew up with.
Mm-hmm.
And 343 has proven twice now that they cannot be trusted with a Halo campaign.
You didn't like 4? Or no, it was 5 that they did, right?
Well, they did 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
With the whole Forerunner stuff, and
I liked 5.
I thought the idea of open world Halo sounded cool, but when they started talking about clearing outposts and getting skill points for your upgrade tree, I just about threw my Xbox into the bathtub.
Believe it or not, I agree with you.
It's so strange, if I might, that Halo, the franchise that redefined shooters as we knew them, is now chasing every shooter trend that has nothing to do with the franchise at all.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
It's really, really disappointing.
Mm-hmm. That's what made Halo games fun, was just that, like, we don't get linear shooters anymore.
Yeah, I mean, and just the pace of the gameplay, especially with like shields and all that, like it just doesn't match up with the structure of the shooter they're aiming for. I remember when they added sprint to Halo 4, I cried. I didn't really cry, but I was sad. You understand? Like, this is not the franchise. It should be trailblazing. It should not be picking up on trends that happened 5 or 6 years ago.
I'm kind of with you on that.
I don't know. So I was really bummed. The story looks cool, though.
Just the thought of open world Halo, though. Like,
I mean, we're not gonna play it, though.
No, we're gonna play it, but
it's included in our Game Pass subscription. You'd be foolish not to play it,
right?
But it's reminding me of what we went through with Gears 5 when we had that huge open world area, and I'm like, ugh. Everything was fine up until that.
Even that was like a manageable hub. I would love, give me a Halo with hub and spoke. You kidding me? I'm in.
I'd be more okay with that.
Master Chief is not if I always complain about God of War having a skill tree because he's the god of war, but at least he was on vacation for a while. Master Chief has been at war nonstop for 40 years. It makes no sense he would have a skill tree.
Well, remember he's been floating out in space, I guess. Forgot how to do things.
He was in cryo sleep, so maybe that'll be the excuse. Like, man, my muscle memory's failing me, Cortana.
That's how they're going to Metroid his powers or his abilities.
You know, at least it wouldn't be as dumb as Other M, but still.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea because Cortana. I'm fuzzy on the details of the story with Cortana. She kind of went rogue a little bit, right? Or,
she became like a rogue AI.
And
so now you got this new AI, and you're trying to go rescue Cortana.
Yeah, and I like the new AI because she basically seems to have the moral understanding of a toddler, which I think is fun. Because we've seen a lot of, dad carrying around naive child stories, but she seems even younger than an Atreus or an Ellie.
Right.
She almost seems like a baby. So I don't know. The idea of Halo or of Master Chief dealing with an actual toddler sounds pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. I will say I agree with you on all your points about this, but I will say that some of the stuff in here does look a lot of fun. The verticality in this game seems to have grown exponentially since the previous games. I don't know, some of that stuff with rocket launchers and taking down the ships in midair and ziplining, or not ziplining, but grappling hook type stuff.
Have we officially hit the point where it would be weirder if a game did not have a grappling hook?
Probably.
Right, it's almost like a sprint at this point. Like, well, what's the grappling hook button going to be?
I mean, but what is the Halo franchise going to do to redefine first person shooters again?
Well, that's
at this point in time, I don't think they can.
I think
you can only iterate so much, right?
Oh man, Titanfall kind of did it right. That was only a few years ago.
That's true.
Well, but what I'm saying is Halo doesn't feel like it's that type of franchise anymore. With 1, 2, and 3,
yes, I agree with that.
It was that, and then 4 and 5 just seemed like cheap, like knockoffs.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Even if it is in a position right where they don't have, I don't know, the wherewithal to trailblaze, right? It still shouldn't be trends from 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It feels dated already. But again, as always, I am hopeful that I am wrong. If 343 cannot make a linear campaign, maybe they can make an open world campaign. I don't know.
Maybe. It sounds like Halo Far Cry to me a little bit from what you're explaining.
Yeah.
And if I could do that with 2 or 3 buddies, that could be interesting.
See,
well, it's not. You have to wait for the co-op, right? It's delayed.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. See, I can't get excited for Halo Infinite like I was excited for Halo 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like Halo 3, like I was chomping at the bit for that game.
Yeah, Halo 3 was an event.
Halo Infinite to me is just kind of like it's gonna be there.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Do you think that a lot of that is Game Pass though?
No.
I don't think so. I think Microsoft seems far more interested in pushing the multiplayer than the campaign, which is
They do.
also a little low-key concerning.
I was more excited for Gears 5.
Wait, well, of course, Gears is the superior franchise.
But that's saying something. Like Halo is Halo was built on the back of Xbox.
You're right. Halo does not feel like the backbone of Xbox anymore, and it absolutely should.
Mm-hmm. It's been a long time.
Halo's anniversary is the same as the Xbox's anniversary, right? It should be a bigger deal than it is.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, off my tirade now.
Step down off your soapbox, sir.
Boy, I don't really know which one I want to. I mean, both of these are remakes, so I feel like we can almost lump them together. But Grand Theft Auto looks a lot better than I was expecting it to look in terms of a remaster or a definitive edition.
I'm surprised they went so cartoony with the art style because they almost made the characters look like action figures or something.
Well, I mean, they kind of did look like action figures in the original.
No, but when it was 2001, you're like, oh man, video games will never look more like real people than it does here.
With your box hands and stuff like that.
It's 3 Vice City and San Andreas, correct?
Correct.
For $60. Is it
$60? However, San Andreas is coming to Game Pass on November 11th, and GTA 3 is coming to PlayStation Now on December 7th. So you'll be able to get one of them if you subscribe to either of those services. Like, that's all I'll need. I've never played San Andreas, so it's going to be at Game Pass. Again.
I have a feeling that they're going to rotate these games through. Like, San Andreas is going to leave it like, ooh, it's Vice City now. Okay, Vice City, so now you get 3.
Well, after they try to cash in on some of that $60 retail first.
Yeah,
it won't be for a while.
I'll definitely be picking up the physical version, I'm sure.
They did say they upgraded the controls to make them more like Grand Theft Auto 5, so the controls are a little bit more modern, and across-the-board visual enhancements. That is a direct quote. So, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto is just not a series that I just ever got super into. The only one I've ever beaten was 5, and I really kind of pushed myself to finish that. Like, I wasn't, like, having a ton of fun. It just seemed almost comical.
I think the only one I didn't beat was Chinatown Wars.
Oh, okay.
I like Grand Theft Auto quite a bit.
Yeah.
They're fun.
I beat 1.
You know what? There's no outposts. Tell you what. That's great.
You are not going to like Far Cry, man.
I'm actually more excited for Vice City than any of them.
Well, I do, because I feel like that is the most nostalgic trip, especially with the soundtrack. So I do like that they retained that one behind the paywall. They knew what they were doing.
Laszlo's New Beginnings.
Oh, dude, I love Laszlo.
Well, that and I like the fact that you could buy up portions of the city in Vice City.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could do that, and I think you could do that in San Andreas. It was just not as well done.
No. Like, Vice City to me was the best of those 3.
The first island of San Andreas is immaculate. That, like, 90s gangster vibe that they're going for. And then it gets to the second island and starts going over the top. And then you get to the third island and you have jetpacks and you're infiltrating Area 51. Very bizarre video game.
That sounds like it turned into Saints Row.
It kind of does. Weird. Like, it starts Grand Theft Auto 3 and ends Saints Row 3.
Ooh, do you think because this is the definitive edition and time has passed and it's not... I mean, it's pretty tame now. Do you think hot coffee is going to be in it?
No, but it's... God, it's
pretty... But it is pretty tame nowadays.
They were clothed. Right? It's got nothing on Witcher 3, man.
That was such a weird...
I'm going to laugh if that winds up in that game.
What a moment in time. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm excited for modern controls because I bought the PS2 to PS4 ports that they did with trophies. And boy, that lock-on targeting was pretty brutal.
Yeah.
So I think this will be good. I will absolutely dabble in all of these games.
You know, I would take a other game from Rockstar that they did. I cannot remember the name of it to save my life, but with the
Bully.
facial. No,
L.A.
the
Noire.
L.A. Noire. I think I would take another
God.
L.A. Noire over Grand Theft Auto.
I would take an LA Noire 2.
Yeah. At this point, I could probably play the original and not remember a thing because I think I played that.
Don't play it on Switch.
Oh, really?
No, do not.
Okay, I will not.
It is not good on Switch.
I will not play it on Switch. Zach, you said you were excited for this. Are you excited for remasters of Blood Rain and Blood Rain 2 coming to console? I feel like you and I were talking about this the week before this information dropped.
Yeah, absolutely. I am stoked. I already bought the limited run version of them, in fact.
Nice.
So I am all in on Blood Rain revamped. I have very strong memories of Blood Rain 2 especially, which was just like Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, but with vampires in terms of combat, or in terms of like platforming and stuff. So these games I remember being very, very good, and I have been quite in the mood for some vampire stuff since I rewatched Blade about a month or two ago. And this is exactly what I needed. So yeah, I'm very excited.
And I've never played them, so
Should play a game called Dark.
On 360?
Yeah.
Like the Splinter Cell vampire game? No.
Yeah.
No, I will not play that.
well, like Zach mentioned, there will be a limited run coming to PS4 and Switch, and physical editions for there. But this game is going to be released digitally. No word on the price yet, but the games were $14.99 on PC. So do you think we can expect the same thing for
$29.99
for each?
Oh, it'll be probably $29.99 if they combo them together, or $19.99 each.
Yeah, I would also think $20 would be my guess, just because of how much more expensive it is to get games on console. But that seems like a fair price if it's truly as revamped as they are claiming.
Here's the big question, though. Do you think this, because Ziggurat Interactive bought the IP in 2020, and we got this revamped thing already? Do you think that we could be getting a new game from Ziggurat? Since well,
if you
like a Blood Rain 3,
they also did the Blood Rain, the Fresh Bites remaster a couple months ago, which is the 2D game, and they added in voice acting and stuff. So I wouldn't say it's as far off the mark as you might think. It might be priming the franchise.
That'd be pretty cool.
You'll never guess who the cast is Rain for that 2D one. It's Laura Bailey. She's every woman now.
She's every woman now.
Even when they're black in Uncharted 4.
Every woman. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to some of the newer games we've actually been playing. All right, Zach, the list is not getting smaller this week. What new games are coming out that we can enjoy this week?
Yeah, I really thought November was going to be slower, but based on our news segments, November's heating up too. Retro futurist strategy game Iron Harvest gets its PS5 and Xbox Series console port on October 26th. Huge hit Darkest Dungeon gets its sequel Darkest Dungeon 2 into early access on PC October 26th. You can be hooked on a feeling while you're playing Guardians of the Galaxy on PS4, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch via cloud gaming, and PC October 26th. You too can be bored as you race around the track in NASCAR 21 Ignition. PS4, Xbox One, and PC October 26th. As CB mentioned earlier, the Story of Seasons Friends of Mineral Town comes to PS4 and Xbox One October 26th. Big JRPG franchise Neptunia crosses over with fighting game Senran Kagura for Neptunia Cross Senran Kagura Ninja Wars. All your favorite waifus can team up in an action RPG on PS4 October 26th. Someone tells you CB will be buying that one with shame in his face. The next great therapy game, Workshop Simulator, coming to PC October 26th. A weird chibi Gundam game coming to PC, Super Robot Wars 30, coming October 27th. 3D horror Halloween-themed platformer Pumpkin Jack gets ported over to PS5 and Xbox Series consoles October 27th, just in time for Halloween. Mobile horror game Death Park 2 comes to Xbox One October 27th. Cyberpunk point-and-click adventure game Virtuaverse comes to PS4, Xbox One, Switch October 28th. Age of Empires 4 is a massive PC release, and even bigger, it'll be on Game Pass October 28th. Backbone comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One October 28th. That is an anthropomorphic, hard-boiled crime thriller. like anthropomorphic animals. It's it's like Zootopia,
and it's not the
but
first one in a while.
Yeah, it's kind of a little niche, isn't it?
Yeah, what was that one that wasn't it Chicken Police one that Alyssa reviewed for us?
There was also Black Sad a couple years ago, based on the graphic novel.
Stone. There was that game Stone.
Yeah,
that
was a waste of time.
Hardcore Animals Are In, that Fist game from a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
PS1 graphically styled Dusk comes to Nintendo Switch October 28th. Kind of a big deal. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, Switch, and PC October 28th. That was formerly stranded on the Wii U. Open World Extreme Sports game Riders Republic comes to PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, Xbox One, PC, and Stadia October 28th. That actually looks like a little bit of fun. Tudor platformer Roki comes to PS5, Xbox Series consoles October 28th. I believe this is the biggest game release here. Voice of Cards, The Isle Dragon Roars, coming to PS4, Switch, and PC October 28th. That's a Yoko Taro joint, so that's why I said that. And then Mario Party Superstars comes to Switch October 29th. That seems self-descriptive. Guys, of this mountain of releases, what is catching your eye, CB?
There's way too much to unpack in this.
This is a huge week.
Considering I've already got like 3 of these pre-ordered.
That's insane. How do they expect us to keep up?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Well, Riders Republic is going to be something I'm going to be playing for a while, on and off. Fatal Frame, finally. And then, of course, like Guardians of the Galaxy. So I'm gonna have a busy time.
I kind of want to play Mario Party Superstars.
I
love Mario Party, man. Those are great. Just sit with your buddies and punch each other in the shoulder games. We don't get those very much anymore.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, Guardians, especially after reading Zack's review on thegamingoutsider.com.
Of course.
Makes me really want to play that game, and I'm looking forward to hearing you chat about that here soon.
Yeah, I mean, as for me, Fatal Frame into Blackwater, I'm super intrigued by just because of its formerly stranded nature. But this week was going to be a huge toss-up between Guardians of the Galaxy and Voice of Cards for me, but a toss-up no longer, as I have completed Guardians of the Galaxy. So Voice of Cards it shall be.
Speaking of, why don't we go ahead and jump right into it, man, because I am eagerly anticipating hearing you talk about this. Guardians of the Galaxy, you played on PS4.
Correct.
I get the feeling from your review that this was a bit of a surprise for you. It's not quite what you were expecting. What were you expecting, and what did you get?
Well, I think it'll be a surprise for a lot of people, because I don't think I'm alone in saying that the marketing for this game was poor.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, like the announcement trailer was fine, but then they did that weird 20-minute demo that just was really like, well, we're kind of here for Final Fantasy. We don't really need 20 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy. And it just kind of seemed like it was trying a bit too hard, and then its weird marketing structure where they would just release cutscenes was befuddling. I couldn't make heads or tails of it. But I was always going to pick it up because it is a comic book video game, and I try to be the expert around here for that.
Mm-hmm.
But this game exceeds expectations, big time. It is exactly what you would want from a Guardians of the Galaxy game, much as the Arkham games did for Batman, or Insomniac's games do for Spider-Man. Eidos Montreal has done for Guardians of the Galaxy. It is as good an adaptation as you could hope for, I think.
That's intriguing, because when I read your review, you said this is a positive, which I thought would be a negative, but that you do not play as each of the Guardians of the Galaxy. You just play as Star-Lord, right?
Right, and like a lot of people, I think, definitely rolled my eyes when I learned that this was a Star-Lord game.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the natural assumption, right, is why would you not want to play as all of the Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah, right. That's why I'm trying to wrap my head around how this is a positive.
So I think one easy positive is it is nice because I think the combat is a lot of fun and incredibly unique. And I would rather have one great combat system than 5 middling ones.
Avengers.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to Avengers this bad boy up. But it's also just the storyline, which I don't want to give too much away of, because there is a early game twist that kind of reshapes what you think the game's going to be about. But it is definitely a game about just unexpected responsibility in life, like like with Star-Lord's position as leader of this motley crew, as it were, because this is the Guardians. Seems like, I don't know, like a few months into their time together. Like they're all familiar with each other, but they don't know each other.
So you're not getting that origin story that we do in every other comic book video game.
Right, yeah. Skips right past that, which is good because I think you can trust video gamers to, like, because of the structure of a video game, you can just throw people in the deep end of a story because they're also there for the mechanics,
Right.
So unlike a movie where you need to understand the characters, you can kind of just get thrown into it and catch up later with a video game, which is used to great advantage here because you can just cut right to it.
So how does it work gameplay-wise then? If you're just playing as Star-Lord, are you interacting with the other members, like Gamora and Rocket and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. So because the game is one of leadership, it kind of informs the mechanics, right? So it looks on the surface like it's just going to be a shooter where you're playing as Star-Lord and all the other Guardians are running around you during combat. But also, your gun battles are done via lock-on, so it seems super simple at first. But then as you learn, because they start you off a little bit slow, where the Guardians have to split up and then team back up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you get them one by one, you learn that sure, you're playing as Star-Lord, but you're spending more time commanding the other Guardians than you are playing necessarily as Star-Lord, because they each have their own strengths. Like Drax can do a lot of stagger damage, which is useful for like bosses or like a brute kind of enemies, and it kind of lowers their defenses. Whereas Rocket has a couple of different area of attack damages, which is very nice for thinning out a crowd. And you need to command them around. You need to be like, you need to lock onto a person over here and send Groot to tangle them up while you then you go lock onto the big guy charging at you, so that way Drax can intervene. And you're I mean, I've overused this expression a lot, but you're really like conducting this battlefield symphony. It is.
So it sounds like a more involved, like Republic Commando, where instead of you just issuing orders, you're actually like giving them orders specifically in combat. Is that a fair assessment?
Somewhat. So you do have to go into like a quick menu to command the Guardians, and like time slows down but doesn't stop or whatever. But it's almost like scrolling through a JRPG menu or something.
Mid-combat?
And it works a lot better than it is, right? So you hold down L1 to issue commands, and then each Guardian is on a face button, and then when you press their face button, it opens up into their 4 skills, basically.
I see what you're saying.
So it's like a simple, quick menu, but it felt more almost like playing, like honestly, like a Kingdom Hearts, where and I hate to bring up Kingdom Hearts as a comparison because it scares so many people. But I just mean like you're going through these menus while the action is ongoing. So you're using your brain as much as you are your reflexes. And
it reminds me of Final Fantasy VII Remake a little bit too.
Yeah, which is very much like Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy 15 even.
Okay.
A little bit of that Square Enix heritage shining through, as it were.
Yeah. Right.
And it just works so well, and it's unlike any combat system I've played. And it probably sounds overwhelming as I'm describing it, but the game is paced so expertly that you're getting skills and upgrades at such a measured pace that it never feels overwhelming.
How long of a game is it?
About like 20, 25 hours, I think. It doesn't give you a play clock, which always sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But I can take
But it sounds like you highly recommend it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the story is really good. I would even talk about there are a lot of dialogue choices that can affect the storyline. So, like, the Guardians all pretty much never shut up, which I guess is true to the movies and the comic books. And they're while you're exploring the environment, which is a linear kind of game, and you're doing a lot of platforming and puzzle solving, not unlike an Uncharted or a Tomb Raider, which was incredibly refreshing because I feel like we don't really get that.
Mm-hmm.
And the Guardians are chatting the whole time, and while you're running around, you can tap a button as Star-Lord to respond to the conversation. You can be jokey or be like, let's get our heads in the game, etc. But it can color the way like Rocket feels about you for the mission or whatever, but then as you meet other characters, you make bigger choices, and it does like the classic Telltale like Groot will remember that sort of thing. But it plays out fairly well. Like you really are coloring your story, if not totally shaping it, but like you can there are significant things you can do, like an early example, right? You go to a bridge, or a bridge is out for a chasm that you need to cross, and Drax just says like, "We shall throw the rodent across," and just picks up Rocket as Rocket is squirming and pleading to get put down. And you can tell
in the trailer or in the 20-minute footage.
I think it was in the gameplay footage, but yeah, you can have Drax just toss him across and get the bridge down, or you can say no, right, not throwing people against their will on this team. And that leads to a whole several-minute excursion where you have to do some puzzling and platforming to find a way around, all because you don't want to throw Rocket in while you're doing that, right? Like the team's like, Drax is like, man, we really could have solved this problem. We just threw Rocket across, and then, Gamora might chime in and be like, yeah, I don't know, it might not have been the worst idea. It's just a lot of fun banter caused by your decisions. And then there are bigger decisions you can make too, where, like you get in some legal trouble, you have to pay a fine, but I spent the money on some gambling that went sour, so I didn't have the money, which got us in some significant trouble. Just kind of fun things like that.
You're talking about like commanding all these characters and having this, you're the leader, and your review even said that this is a story all about being a leader. But my only experience with Guardians of the Galaxy are the movies, and I don't feel like the Guardians have a whole lot of respect for Peter. Is that do they respect him, or is it he's an idiot that just happens to be our boss?
Because this game is triple the length of both of the Guardians movies combined, right? Like there's so much more room for the characters to breathe. And you're right, they do kind of start off very bickering, and Star-Lord starts off pretty grating, honestly. But then by a few hours in, he has kind of a little bit of a come to Jesus moment where he knows he has to grow up a little bit. And then it just kind of progresses from there. And he's still jokey, Star-Lord that you would know. He's still Peter Quill. But he's a little bit more mature than I think we're used to. And that kind of helps inform the Guardians, where there are like unlike a lot of the MCU stuff, when there is a tender and serious moment, it isn't always undercut with a joke to take you out of it. It has room to breathe for emotionality, which is really nice. And it feels good. There are some very strong scenes that stick with you.
And you're really intriguing me to play this. Last question I have for you is the music used like it is in the movies, or how is the music used?
Yeah, so there are definitely some needle drop moments throughout the campaign, which, a little bit of the inspiration for the topic this week, and like a particularly great use of Final Countdown, I might add. But it's mostly used for huddling up, which, to keep the Final Fantasy analogy going, is basically your limit break of the game.
All right,
where it just charges up every now and again, but it will. You call the group together, they'll assess how the battle is going, and if you respond correct with dialogue and feed them back, like if they're like, man, we're really getting our asses handed to us out there, you could be like, don't get distraught, guys, like we're a team, we figured it out, we know how to work together, let's get back out there and let's kick some ass. And it'll play a random 80s song from the Peter Quill's awesome mix cassette. And it's really funny because it can be like Kickstart My Heart, you're like, yeah, let's just tear through these guys. Or it can be Don't Worry, Be Happy, where all of a sudden you're like, I'm kind of having a peaceful firefight all of a sudden. And because it's random, you don't know what you're gonna get. It's a lot of fun, and it honestly gives you something to look forward to, because you're like, you see like a really long battle, like, man, I hope the huddle up is ready, because I could really use a jam right now. And it kind of gets you in the zone the way it's getting the Guardians in the zone.
That's awesome. Something in the trailer I saw where he like takes the tape out and flips it from side A to side B. Is there something with that, or is that just like part of the random?
I don't remember this. I don't remember that incredibly specific moment, but I'm sure it does. But he does always do, like, he holds his hand in the air like he's got a detonator or something and presses play, and the jam starts rocking. It's pretty rad. But before we move on, there's something that I need to especially praise, because it is an unsung hero, is the user interface, which is something I've never really complimented a game on. But because user interfaces on console games especially are so awful these days, You know, like every game has that stupid, terrible PC cursor menu that you just move with the analog stick.
Yeah, Far Cry 6 does.
That's infuriating to hear. And I feel like it's all Destiny's fault. But this game, wouldn't you know it, feels like it's actually designed for a controller. You use the D-pad to navigate menus.
Oh.
And I know this is like a silly thing to praise, but I really need developers to know that the PC cursor thing sucks, and it's never felt good. Nobody likes it. And you don't have to hold down the select button for every menu decision, which I feel like a lot of games do, which infuriates me because I'm like, I know what I'm doing. I am in the menu. I do not need to hold down every button for 3 seconds to confirm something. Please stop treating me like a child. And finally, the text is legible.
That's always a bonus.
Which every game, it feels like, has to have in their first patch, like, text font sizes included. You can just read the text in this game.
Nice.
It was almost... I honestly couldn't believe it. I went to the codex because I was interested, and I was like, I was regretting it as I was entering it. It's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to read this crap anyway. And it was perfectly legible, a reasonable size for normal human beings from across the room. It was great. So shout out to that.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's you sold me on the game.
And if you weren't sold already, Scott, there's an active reload.
I'm double sold. I love active reloads.
I love active reloads so much. And it's used intelligently. Yeah, this game is just more than anything for a game to be 20 to 25 hours long, and I never felt bored for a minute. Like, it is paced to perfection.
Paced to perfection for a 25-hour game.
It's pretty insane to pull off. You know, I feel like most people would point to Uncharted 4 or The Last of Us, the first Last of Us, I guess, only like 12 hours. But you could, you know, Uncharted 4 is the only game I can think of that's long that people generally like the pace of. But this game really does nail it.
Nice. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Zack, sounds awesome. I cannot wait to play it.
Pick it up, man. Like, I feel like since these characters exploded in 2014, Marvel has burned the franchise into everybody's retinas. And it's almost like a little tiring to see these characters, but this really pulls it off.
It sounds like something special. It sounds like something really good.
It's really great. I absolutely recommend. If anybody's passingly curious, absolutely pick it up. It is such a breath of fresh air in this year's releases.
And it's on everything. It's not just PS4. It's on PlayStation 5, Xbox
Switch.
One, Series X. It's on Switch. It's on NVIDIA. You can play it on NVIDIA.
Really?
Yeah, kind of crazy. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to trying that out. I just getting through 25 hours of content when I got Far Cry 6 sitting there, and that's all I want to play. But, man.
You'll forget about Far Cry 6 once you start.
You think so?
That's high praise. CB, though, you've been Crysising it up. From what you said, you've beaten Crysis 1 and 2?
Yeah.
Remastered?
Well, it's kind of interesting that you bring that up, because the Crysis 1 remaster was done a couple months ago.
That's what I could have swore I had played a Crysis remaster.
Yeah. That just came out a couple months ago. Now they're like Crysis Trilogy Remastered, and it comes with the Crysis 1 remaster.
So you had to double dip against your will.
No, I just completely bypassed Crysis 1 because it's actually the exact same thing. I booted up and I'm like, oh, look, it's the same game.
No, I'm saying you had to pay for it twice, whether you wanted to or not.
Yeah, well, for some of them out there, I got a review copy of the Trilogy Remaster, so that was kind of nice. But man, so I bypassed Crysis 1, already beat it. I actually booted it up. It's the exact same thing. The achievements were the same. So I was like, okay, we're done here.
Sense. Yeah, why would you not do that, right?
Yeah. Crysis 2, though, man, what a game.
Would you say that's the one?
So I remember growing up, like Crysis was like the benchmark for PCs,
right?
For the longest time.
Yeah,
Crysis 2,
but can it play Crysis?
Yeah, Crysis 2, just like that is a shooter after my own heart. It is insanely fast paced. And it plays to like my style of gaming. Just give me a gun and point me in a direction, and I'm gonna go.
Perfect.
He loves the run and gun, which is why he hates Lemnis Gate.
Yeah, it's not my style.
Love that game.
But no, so it picks up right where Crysis 1 left off. But it takes place in New York. So alien invasion in New York sounds familiar.
Sure.
Just like every other alien invasion, pretty much.
Where else would they invade?
Yeah, but we have a Hulk.
Yeah, no Hulk. Well, I mean, you are the Hulk.
I just remember when I played this game originally, the suit was just the epitome of cool.
Oh,
Like,
it's
everything
it's
about it was
still
slick.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because you have your active armor, so you can just take a bunch of damage. You have a stealth option, and just for you, Scott, I mixed it up. I did play about a third of this game stealth.
Nice. Stealth or like sniper rifle?
Just straight stealth, like going through and trying to like literally sneak up on everybody and just stealth kill them all.
How'd that go?
Pretty good.
Mm.
So because not so much in the first one, but in this one, you have a heads up display. So whenever you get to a big open area, it alerts you like you have tactical options available. And so you pull up your HUD and it'll be like, ooh, do you want to go stealth? Do you just want to like blitz through? Or do you want to observe and then kind of pick your way through this area? So it gives you options.
And it kind of guides you along those paths? Because it feels like you could put that together in your own head, right?
Well, it gives you like the best vantage point to start those ways.
Okay.
So like stealth, it's going to start you up on this ridge over here. If you're going to observe, you're going to start in this ridge over here. And if you're just going to go guns blazing, it's like start in this area, which is usually around like a pile of guns and ammo.
Hell yeah.
Now you've beat this before, right? On 360?
I've beat all three of them.
So how does it look in comparison? Because it is, remastered. Does it look a lot better?
It looks a bit better. I wouldn't say it's leaps and bounds, but it is definitely cleaned up. Unlike the first one, it looked like Crysis to me, like a little bit cleaned up. This one, like some of the text, like it's got that Assassin's Creed effect from the Ezio Trilogy remaster, where like some of it looks really good and some of it you're like, ugh, like just there's something off-putting. There's a very uncanny valley effect.
Okay. Any of the controls different at all?
No, they're pretty much the same controls. But the nice thing about this one is I remember playing it Crysis 2 on the 360. And there were areas where you would get into heavy firefight and frames would just drop and it would get a little buggy and choppy.
Right.
This, not once. And playing it on the Series X, I mean, it is clean, it is fast paced.
I would take that over, an occasional Ubisoft like hiccup showing up.
Yeah,
if the gameplay runs smooth. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I mean, I put probably 10 to 15 hours into this game, and just the shooting is fun. It's definitely like if you screw up, you made the mistake. It's not unfair. Because there are times where you're going to get into some pretty heavy firefights in this game. But to prove it to myself, like there's even areas that you can just blitz from the beginning of the level all the way to the end and not shoot anybody.
So you just get from A to B? It's a Mario game?
Just as fast as you can through. And some people like just want to speed run it because you can speed run this game if you really wanted to. But I don't have there's no fun in that for me. The story's still ridiculous. I just finished 2 today. I'm diving into 3. I'm looking forward to 3 because 3 had my favorite weapon of the trilogy, which was the bow.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that bow. It is stupid fun.
That was the year of the bow. Remember, Zach?
Oh yeah, I remember it distinctly.
Yeah.
Like it was yesterday.
So
cool.
I'm looking forward to diving into that. If anybody remembers this trilogy and wants to play it again, I recommend it highly, especially if you're looking for a great linear shooter. This is definitely a solid
like a little bit
entry
of a hint there. Trying to wink, nudge me.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty definitive linear shooter there, buddy.
I remember. I never did play 2 or 3. I like the first game has that alien twist, which obviously 2 and 3 blow wide open. Where like you don't know about the aliens until like 2/3 through the game or whatever.
Yeah. This one, they definitely play on it more. And the story has a really, if you haven't played 2, the story has a really cool twist towards the end for 2.
Oh, okay. Well, and I didn't mean to spoil the plot twist of the first Crysis. It's just, aliens invade in the second game, so I kind of figured it was pretty wide open secret.
It's pretty much a given on that one, but there's a line that if you aren't paying attention, kind of gives away a little bit of the end.
Okay.
But it's very quick and you will miss it if you're not paying attention. But when that reveal happens, you're like, whoa, that's weird.
I've always, it's like a blind spot in my shooter history. I've always wanted to play Crysis.
It is, to me, it plays like a better Halo.
I think like that's bold words. This and Fear like ran concurrently in my mind, and I felt like I was all in on Fear. I kind of left Crysis aside.
Which, God, a Fear remaster.
A Fear remaster would be amazing.
Bring it on. God, not. Oh, hey, they're remastering all these games from that era. I mean, we've got Resident Evil remasters.
Fear 2 is one of the great shooters, man. Good God.
Yeah. So I really want you to play Crysis and Crysis 2, Zach.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So
the universe always seemed appealing.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of up your alley.
Yeah, I think it is. I'm intrigued.
So, highly recommend. So
Crysis Trilogy Remastered. You plan on Xbox, but it's available everywhere, right?
Yeah. So, speaking of games that are kind of up my alley, and also yours, Scott, you've been playing something that I'm intrigued on because I watched the trailer and I'm confused.
All right.
It's a game called Influent, and you're playing it on iOS.
Yes. It's a language learning application. I would call it an application more than an actual game. It's I chose to try Spanish because I've always wanted to learn Spanish. I know very little. I got some Spanish-speaking students, so I dove into Spanish to try to learn that.
Okay. So what? All right. A little out of left field. Pitch me on this. Why should I play this over other versions? Because this trailer just makes me not want to learn a language in a way.
See, yes. I was intrigued by the trailer when I first saw it, and that's why I decided to check it out because first off, Influent has been on PC for quite a while. This is just the first time it's coming to mobile. And I've tried things like My Spanish Coach on DS back in the day.
Oh yeah.
You remember those?
I still have it.
And I just get bored with just the words. I feel like I'm somewhat of a kinesthetic learner. I like to get my hands on things and learn that way. And while I can't do that with a phone game, it's closer. Because instead of just throwing words at you and just doing rote memorization, you actually play as a character and there's a story that goes along with it. And it's very strange. You're a guy stuck in your house and like a flying robot comes and is a robot companion or something. But the interesting thing is that you're actually going around your apartment marking items, picking them up, and it actually says the word of the item that you pick up in Spanish, and then you add it to your notebook, and then you'll have like a quiz to go find those 10 items again, and then choose the right word, or it'll give you the Spanish word, and you have to go find the item in the house, which is a more like tactile way of learning a language. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Instead of just giving me the word and then telling me to, give me the Spanish word and then having me choose the English translation of it, go find the item. Then I'm actually like kind of holding something. I don't know. I like that idea of it, and that was what intrigued me by it.
Okay. And so, I mean, it's funny you bring this up because I've also been doing language learning using a different application, like Duolingo. Yeah. I've been doing that. And I know because I've taken language classes before, like a lot of retaining how to do this is not only like reading or like being shown what it is, but speaking like the language and repetition.
Sure.
So I'm sitting here trying to wonder like how using like a video game style app would promote language learning, especially like because like how much repetition is in it. And
Well, I mean, there's lots of repetition because of, like I said, you have the choice to go around and pick up what objects you want, and it goes into like a notebook. But then you actually have to like the quote unquote quizzes, which you earn stars, and the more times you do them, the more stars you get to unlock more words, and it does a really good pacing in terms of it won't just keep letting you unlock every item in the whole place. You know what I mean? You kind of
Okay.
have to master this certain set, but you get to choose what that set is. So you could choose to be just in the living room and do all living room items, and then you get a quiz that says find these 10 items, and then now you don't have the saying it because the as far as I've gotten, the app hasn't like asked me to speak anything to say it
Okay.
correctly, so I haven't seen anything like that. But I don't know, visually seeing the items and it's easier for my brain to retain that kind of information when I see something and I hear the word and then it clicks. Does that make sense?
okay, no, it makes sense.
This isn't
I'm
a
a little
game that
familiar
I'm.
with
Go ahead.
Blooms.
What?
I'm familiar with Blooms, so
Okay. This isn't a game that I'm like craving to play like a Far Cry or anything like that because it's a learning app. There are some fun games in it. If you earn enough stars, you get to fly this, spaceship around the apartment a little bit, collecting things. It's a fun little reward, but this is a game that I would rather play than like go to class and take tests and that kind of thing. It's something I can just knock when I'm right before I go to sleep, play for a half hour, 45 minutes or so, and try to remember a few words. So
no, I get it, and it's very admirable to try to learn a language.
well, in the sheer number of languages you can learn with this app, like I said, I just chose Spanish because it's just a very popular language in where I live. But I mean, there's Chinese, there's Japanese, there's
Japanese, huh?
Yeah, dude. I mean, there's.
So
I'm not used to seeing those languages available for things like this. So
I want you to look on yours when you get a chance because I have been scrolling through like Duo's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been noticing that there's been a push to learn strange languages in some of these apps lately.
Yeah.
And on mine has Klingon, Dothraki, and Latin.
Pretty sure that Dothraki is not on here, but I will look for you.
Yeah, I'm just surprised. I'm like, who is learning this? But no, I'm actually curious to see, like, in a couple months, like, if you stick with this, like, where you sit progression wise. Yeah, I don't speak Spanish. I'm actually
motorcycle. I was never mind.
Oh no, I get where you're going with it, but because I'm doing French on mine. But
right,
I'm curious to
Japanese, Portuguese, Polish, French. I don't know what this is. PYCCKNN. I don't know what language that is.
PYCC.
Italian, some kind of a language that I cannot read. Norsk, Espanol, Dutch, Dansk, Svenska, Suomi.
It looks like it's $4 a course.
Yeah, $4 for each like language. So you can $4. Netherlands, Magyar. I do not see Klingon or Dothraki. I'm sorry.
Disappointed.
But how cool would it be to learn Dothraki?
So, no, but I want you to report back to me in a couple months on this because I'm curious when it gets to things like conversational and like conjugation.
Yeah, same here.
Where it pushes you with that, especially because if it's got a storyline where like you're stuck in your apartment, like are you going to start talking to the cat or something?
The gato.
El gato.
El gato.
The streaming stuff, right? The El Gato.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
again, that game is Influent. I am playing it on iOS, but it is also available on Android. So if you're looking for an entertaining way to learn a foreign language, I'd say check it out. For $4, it's kind of hard to beat, and there's a lot going on in this game for $4. So Before we get to our topic, I do want to share a review. I sat down with Alyssa, who could not be here with us this week, but she stopped by to talk about Echo Generation, which is a game she's really digging. Let's go ahead and play that for you right now. Well, hello there, Alyssa. How you doing today?
I'm doing okay, Scott. How are you?
I'm doing all right. It's so good to talk to you. We missed you on this week's episode, but at least I got to do a little pre-recording with you.
I miss being with you guys.
I know it seems like it's been too long. It always seems like it's been too long.
I know.
But I want to hear about this game you're reviewing for us called Echo Generation. Comes from developer Coco Cucumber and was provided to us by Stride PR for coverage purposes. So thank you very much to them for hooking us up. I watched the trailer for this, and I did not realize that this was a turn-based JRPG.
It is. I don't know if it's really a JRPG.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's an argument as to whether or not JRPG actually means Japanese or not, But it's a turn-based RPG. But it's got, the characters are blocky, almost like Minecraft, but a little bit more voxels going on there.
Yeah, I really love the art style in this. It made everything pop, and seeing, all these weird creatures in the voxel art style was just really awesome.
It also had a bit of a spooky atmosphere to it. Is this a Halloween game?
You could definitely play it for Halloween. It's not really set around Halloween, but there's so much going on in this small town that I've never actually watched the X-Files. That it feels like it would be like X-File-ish.
Okay. Well, you're intriguing me more and more. I haven't played a turn-based RPG I've liked in a long time, and one centered that sounds like X-Files sounds really cool. So what's the story?
There's not a huge story to this game. It's just your character, which you can name whatever you want to name your character, and you can select from a handful of different characters to choose from. But you and your little sister are trying to find your dad, who has mysteriously disappeared years ago. And you just go around town trying to find clues to where he could possibly be or what could possibly have happened to him. But this town has some mysteries to it, and you're going to come across some creepy enemies.
Okay. That's one thing that stood out to me from the trailer is some of the bosses looked really cool. There was a killer tractor.
Yes, there is. There actually is a killer tractor.
It, the whole blade things on the side come up as his arms. I don't know. It looked very tongue in cheek, but just kind of cool at the same time.
Yeah, all the bosses are very well done. I was impressed by all of them.
That's cool. So how does the gameplay work? Because I know I could tell it's turn-based, but it looked like there were some action mechanics built in, like Paper Mario style.
I've never played Paper Mario again.
Oh my goodness. No X-Files, no Paper Mario.
No.
Why do we have you on this show? No, I'm just totally joking.
I'm getting my geek card revoked.
I know, right? Hey, I don't know anime, so that's where I lose, right?
Okay, we're even now. But the gameplay, the battles are turn-based, like in a typical RPG, and you can choose to either attack or use an inventory item. But every attack you have to do a little mini-game for. But
yeah, like WarioWare style almost.
Okay. It never felt too repetitive for me, and the mini-games aren't difficult at all. You can easily pull all of them off unless you're just not paying attention. A couple times I missed the mark a little bit, but
don't text overall, while you're playing video games, Alyssa.
Yeah, don't look at your phone while you're But it's just, yeah, I really like the combat, and I thought it was unique for what it was. And what's really cool is you can upgrade your SP by collecting comic books, and you learn new abilities that way. It's just really cool, like the fact that you just pick up comic books and you can learn a new battle ability or gain some SP.
Well, you just piqued Zack's interest, I'm sure. Anything comic book related, right? How long is this game? Because I know RPGs are traditionally super long. Is this a short, bite-sized one, or?
It took me about 13 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. It's a perfect length. I like it.
Yeah, it's not too long, not too short.
Okay, so are you recommending it?
I am. It does have some point-and-click adventure elements to it as well, which I am not very good at those kind of games, because you really have to think outside the box, so I was kind of wanting to bang my head against the wall for some of the later puzzles.
Gotcha.
But if you like that, though, you're going to love this game, because it's very creative.
Okay. I haven't played a point-and-click adventure game in quite a while, but Thomas, one of our writers, loves that style of game, so maybe this one's up his alley. So, very cool. Well, again, that is Echo Generation. Sounds pretty interesting. Sounds like a good spooky Halloween game to play for people that like turn-based RPGs or point-and-click adventures. Sounds really interesting, Alyssa. Thanks so much for stopping by to chat with us, and looking forward to next week when we can talk to you again.
I'm so excited to talk to you guys.
All right, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.
You too, Scott.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, thanks, Alyssa. Always good to talk with you. Want to remind everybody very quickly of our social media outlets. First off, Facebook, facebook.com/groups/thegocast. Have some new members to say hello to over there. David Miles, Michelle Belford, and Ryan Walling. Also, our Discord is live and thriving. If you'd like to join the community over there, our link is in the show notes for this episode. And we'd also ask that you drop us a review if you get a chance over on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or Google Play Music. Wherever you listen to podcasts, we do appreciate you dropping us a line, letting us know how we're doing and ways that we can improve. And it also does help get the word out. Lastly, our website is thegamingoutsider.com. You can find all of our episodes and all of our written content, including Zach's written review for Zhuan Wan Sword 7. Zach, did I butcher that?
No, I think that's as close as I can get.
Okay. Also, Sean's review of Chernobylite is available for your eyes. And then lastly, Alyssa's written review for Echo Generation, which you just heard her talk about, is on the site, and we'd appreciate it if you checked it out. With that, let's go ahead and jump into our From the Outside In topic. Zach already talked about Guardians of the Galaxy, which is a series known for its use of popular music as, quote, needle drop moments to add to the excitement. This obviously carries over in the latest game, as Zach mentioned, and he actually came up with this idea and thought it'd be a ton of fun to share our favorite moments of this happening in other video games besides Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Zach, it was your topic idea. Let's start with you, man. What are some of the best uses of licensed music in video games that come to mind when you talk about this? Because I'm really intrigued to hear your answers, especially.
Well, I'm gonna abstain from using anything Guardians of the Galaxy, of course. No spoilers.
Okay.
But so the very first thing that comes to mind is the Saints Row 3 final mission, final boss fight, which has you ascending, the fictional city of Steelport's version of the Statue of Liberty, and the whole time holding out on a hero who's playing on a loop.
I need a hero,
and it's absolutely delightful, and it really got me into it. At least I was really in the zone for it, man. It was cool.
Saints Row is a good call. I had Power on my list,
which is a great other use, right? Like that's a great opener.
Except I don't remember it being in the remake. I wonder if they lost the licensing for that, or if I just totally missed that, because that was such an iconic moment in Saints Row 3 for me.
Yeah, I do want. I assume the licensing fee for Kanye just climbs as time moves on.
You mean Ye?
Sure.
He
legally
changed
his name
to Ye.
I don't care.
Or is it Ye? I don't even know.
I don't know.
It's Y-E, whatever it is. Anyway.
The man needs mental help.
Did you play 4?
No, I have not played 4.
Because they also, in the opening cinematic of 4, or in the opening level, much like you were saying climbing the Statue of Liberty or whatever in 3, which I didn't finish, you're climbing a rocket as it's blasting into space, right? Like trying to disarm it before it goes into
the... probably also be doing in Far Cry 7.
Probably. Don't give me ideas. But anyway, while you start slowly climbing up this thing, almost to space, it starts playing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from Aerosmith. And that was that caught me off guard and made me laugh out loud the first time that happened. So yeah,
That's really
I feel
funny.
like the Saints Row games are just, they're kind of like the best needle drop moments. That's good. Do you have any others? I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to tie into to Saints Row.
Well, I'd rather not just monologue my answers anyway.
Yeah.
Another one that comes to mind is in Prey, when they Don't Fear the Reaper is playing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Well, you're like getting abducted by the aliens, and it's just on the jukebox. That was pretty.
It was in the bar, wasn't it? Like while the slot machines were going and stuff.
It's like right at the beginning of the game. Yeah.
Yep.
But it kicks in just as stuff starts getting weird at the bar.
What a great game that was, by the way.
Yeah, definitely.
I loved the original Prey.
Man, imagine if we got that Prey 2 that they showed off. We're gonna be a bounty hunter. Oof. But again, and I mean, there are definitely some others, but 2 I really want to talk about is the Arkham series use of Only You. It's used once in Arkham City and twice in Arkham Knight, where the Joker sings Only You and You Alone, a classic love song to Batman. It's really great. There is one, especially in Arkham Knight, that stands out where as Batman, you have to sneak around Joker as he's like singing it almost karaoke to you because he knows you're in the room but he doesn't know where you're at, kind of thing. And it's just Mark Hamill singing as the Joker, and it's very delightful. And it also,
do you remember what song it was?
Yeah, it's only you.
Oh, it's the same song. I thought it was.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's the same song is used 3 different times in the games.
That's kind of perfect. Actually,
it's a nice little recurring thing, and especially with the way the Arkham games definitely play up the like you complete me angle of Batman and Joker. Just really works with their version of things. And then another standout is I don't know if you've Splinter Cell Conviction. When Sam finds out that he has been lied to by his best friend, the song "Building Steam with a Grain of Salt" starts kicking in, which is a song by DJ Shadow from the mid-90s. And it slowly starts building in the background as the truth kind of gets unveiled, and as Sam's anger rises, he starts throwing stuff around the office, right? Because he's at the Third Echelon headquarters. And then it just plays in the background as you basically get unlimited free kills. You remember the mark and execute system of the game where you could mark targets and you would just press one button and you kill 3 people at the same time?
So satisfying.
But in this, he just finds out, the past few years of his life has all been built upon a lie from the person he trusted most in the world. And he's so angry that the song just bops in the background as you have unlimited mark and executes. And you just tear that building apart. And it's all these enemies who they're like Splinter Cells in training, so that you couldn't really mark and execute them very efficiently, building up to it. So the catharsis of he's just so mad that he just
it's like God mode.
It's almost like John Wick. Like he's just walking down the hallways, annihilating everything. It's just an amazing moment. That
I don't think I know that song either.
No, I don't know if it's super popular or not. I didn't learn about its existence until the game came out, and I assumed it was just part of like the game soundtrack, but it was an actual song that they licensed. Yeah, it's very well. And then Alan Wake closing, I'm pretty sure it closes with Space Oddity. One of the episodes closes with Space Oddity, and it is perfect because
it's in the closing credits, but I think they lost the rights to that.
Yeah, I think
the remake.
Well, because they play credits, I think 5 times in that game, right? When every episode ends. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think Space Oddity was the last one, and it was right after the huge revelation at the end of the game, and it was just perfect. And I wish they didn't lose the license to it. I don't know if it's in Remastered or not, but it was in the original game, and it was used very well.
I'll hopefully let you know soon on that.
Okay.
Not to like go too far off course, but that song was also used really well in the movie The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, which I don't know if you've seen that
Stiller
film. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, I have not seen it.
Zach, you need to watch that movie. That is a feel good, kind of like Stranger Than Fiction.
Really?
Feel good movie.
Oh, I always assumed it was a depressing drama.
It starts out that way, but it's all about Ben, because I don't want to get in too far into the weeds, but it's about him like discovering himself and grabbing life by the horns, or whatever that saying is, grabbing the bull by the horns.
Sure.
And man, the way that movie ends is that is a chef's kiss moment for me. I've watched that movie so many times, and every time I freaking love it.
All right.
So highly recommend it. Anyway, you got any others, or was that it?
No, that'll wrap it up for me.
All right, CB. He only took one of mine.
Okay, well, I might take one or two of yours.
Oh boy! All right.
As long as it's not Saints Row, because I've never played, so I can't attest to that.
All right.
Beyond the Sea, Bobby Darin, BioShock.
Now I'm trying to remember where that was used. Was that used it wasn't
when the lighthouse comes up in the first?
What's that?
It's when you first see the lighthouse in the first.
When you first see the lighthouse in the very opening of the game?
Mm-hmm. It's playing in the background.
Like before you get into the bathysphere?
I believe so.
I don't remember. I only remember it in the trailers.
I only remember it in the trailers as well. I don't remember it in the actual game.
It's in the game. I know that much because I played the game not that long ago, and I love Bobby Darin. So it's I have like 3 Bobby Darin LPs.
I could not tell you another Bobby Darin song besides Splish Splash. Is Bobby Darin.
The Knife. So very big in the lounge singer era. Rat Pack, all those, love them. So I absolutely love that.
when it comes to like hearing things, I you say BioShock and my voice goes, hey, 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 welcome to the circus of value. That's like what that's stands out to me more than...
I only ever think, what is is a man not entitled to the sweat on his brow?
Sweat of his brow, yeah.
That's great. Great speech.
Such a great game.
No, says the church, you must give it to God.
No, says the man in Washington, it belongs to the government.
You won't be surprised by this one, but I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire. Ink Spots, Fallout 3.
Fallout 3, yeah. Again, that it was in the game, right? But they use that for marketing.
Wait, which song? Which song?
I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire.
Okay, but the Ink Spots. Yeah. Well, do they ever? I know it's on the radio, but do they ever use it for a specific sequence or anything?
It plays on the radio.
I know. I'm not trying to discredit
but
you,
but just that trailer though.
No,
oh my god!
I remember the exact room I was in, who was in the room with me when I watched that trailer, because I was such a big Fallout 2 guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I remember distinctly the Fallout 3 trailer.
Like the power armor kind of turns and looks at the camera with the
well, at the very end, but it's like it's in the bus right where the radio comes to life and it just slowly pans out.
Oh yeah, it's like the little light bulb things like slowly flicker on and then it backs out. Yeah, I remember that. Oh, that was good.
Well, it's just like the use of country roads for Fallout 76. Oh, love that one.
Oh yeah. Again, marketing. That's why I didn't pick the Gears song, the song that they used. Mad World. I thought about putting that, but I was like, it wasn't like a needle drop moment. It was just the use in marketing.
They do use it in Gears of War 3.
Yeah, it's...
Oh, do they?
Is it in the credits?
No, it's for the big sacrifice.
Oh.
That happens towards the...
Oh, you're right.
Yes, and it is... I totally forgot until this conversation, but they do use that song when someone dies for everyone else, and it is very powerful. I remember crying. Yeah, absolutely.
Big moment, especially after the events of 2.
Those damn meathead characters made me cry in 2 different games.
Yeah.
And my third one is kind of cheating.
Okay.
So,
you already did.
No, I didn't. Take Control by the Old Gods of Asgard.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good. I was thinking about that, but because it's a fictional band, so I held off. But I know it's played by the actual Poets of the Fall.
Take Control.
Just that entire sequence to me is still one of the best like combinations of music and action.
I don't think that's cheating because that became a song. Like, you know what I mean? Like
it is a literal needle drop in the game. Kid like
definitely
puts on the headphones and I'm like,
because the artifact was the cassette player, right?
That song is still on my playlist.
Oh, it's on mine too.
For everything, and I'll be driving around in my truck, and that song comes on. I'm like, I instantly want to fight somebody.
The problem is the song is too long. Like it starts to repeat.
No, it's
a little
not.
bit. Yeah,
it was designed for its segment. Similar to that I almost put on my list, but I was worried it didn't count. Was Late Goodbye for Max Payne 2, which is the same band that the band that does the Asgard as opposed to the Fall. They do the song Late Goodbye, but it's written by Sam Lake. The song, and it's used in Max Payne 2 extensively. It's almost like the sad, depressing version of the use of the control section.
Isn't it just funny that Remedy somehow comes up 3 times in this conversation?
They know what they're doing over there. They know what they're cooking up.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Got any others? Was that your last one?
Nope. Those are my 3 that I'm going with.
I am shocked that I still have 3 left on my list after you guys.
All right. Are you going to do the Skrillex thing?
I am going to do the Skrillex thing. I don't care. That moment was freaking awesome because I had never heard of Skrillex up to that point, and I had no idea.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Well, I wasn't into that style of music, dubstep, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that was like the first time I'd ever heard dubstep was when I just like picked up a flamethrower and started torching these fields, and come to find out that was like a pre-existing song. I thought that moment was pretty awesome. So. Yes, that was on my list. Other low-hanging fruit? Huh?
I was going to say, before you dive in, because I just want to get this out of the way, my biggest problem with music and games is because majority of the time I hear music in games is either like on radios or it's in sports games.
Yep.
Because I would have said like Stereogram from MLB 2K5.
Yeah, or even like the Project Gotham racing games had good soundtracks.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully,
but they're not like,
as games continue to get more cinematic, we can incorporate more needle drop moments. Because
I
think
hope
about
so.
how memorable they are when they happen.
yeah.
Well, here we are.
I mean, the other one that is a little bit low hanging fruit, but and I'm not a big Call of Duty guy, although I do like the campaigns. But in the original Black Ops, when that game towards the beginning, you're in like I don't know what you call those boats, those power boats that are like air things with the turbines on the back. What do you call them? Airboats?
An airboat?
An airboat? Okay, I didn't realize it was that simple. But you're going through there and they start playing Sympathy for the Devil from the Rolling Stones. And it just made you feel like you were in the 60s. Like that opening mission just felt so much more powerful and cool with the Rolling Stones playing in the background. So
it was actually a really good choice of song for that too, because I feel that almost everything from that era uses Fortunate Son.
Right. Very much so.
And so like the fact that somebody chose something that wasn't like the go-to song,
but
I
it
was
still
like,
felt 60s.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, obviously the song is from that era, but I don't know. Really cool. My last one, I don't know if you would consider it a needle drop moment, but I'm counting it because of, you'll understand. SSX Tricky and on GameCube.
Oh yeah, I think that would count.
But sports title.
No, but
that's why
but it's incorporated into the mechanics.
Into the mechanic, because when you fill your tricky meter all the way, the song kicks in, and not like the beginning of the song, it just kicks right in the chorus of that song.
Right to the part you want.
Right. Like right on the beat of like, I don't know. There was just something about hearing that. It's like, it's tricky to rock around. It was like, all right, stuff's getting real now.
But see, I get that, but I'm saying like that's one of my problems I have is like it almost seems like some of the best music moments come in sports games.
Right, but this is like this is a thing you do this like 3 times a race though. Like I feel like it's more interwoven than usually a sports game where the music's kind of in the background.
Right.
I'm just wishing that there was like better music, and it's probably licensing issues. I'm just saying I wish there was better music in a lot of other games.
Well, we're gonna have to play Guardians of the Galaxy to get caught up, right?
Nothing but bops there.
I can't imagine how expensive the licensing alone for that game must have been.
That it actually worries me because then like 20 years for a remaster for that game, they're like, oh yeah, we couldn't afford the licensing rights for these.
You would
be
think
like generic music
in this specific scenario, you would think that they would have thought ahead on that when it's so vital to the game itself. Let's hope. Anyway.
Well,
especially because we've lost licensing to music for other games.
Right, is a lesson that should have been learned.
And I feel like, and again, I haven't played Guardians of the Galaxy, but to me, the franchise, from the movie standpoint, because that's my only experience with it, it's so pivotal, right? Like the music is a big part of that story. And
yeah, well, I mean, it's woven right into the ending of the first movie.
Right. So,
and the second.
Those movies are very good.
I do like those movies. Anywho, those were our best moments, and I probably could have come up with some more, but I just was assuming mine were going to be taken. So let's go to our listeners. CB, I'm going to start things off with you on Facebook. Why don't you kick things off?
This is such an easy question for me. Well, Jeff Swan.
There you go.
So this is such an easy question for me, but it's impossible to show because of the YouTube copyright claims. Quantum Break, Remedy again.
Right. That's 4 different Remedy games mentioned on this.
Yeah. End of Act 3, the first time you as the player feel like you're getting a grasp on your powers instead of getting beat up or knocked out at like the end of Act 1 and 2. You end Act 3 by stealing a supercar and escaping from a bad guy mansion. Right as you drive away, 10-ton skeleton hits, and it's one of my favorite hell yes moments in gaming.
It's a good call. By the way, he posted on this post the YouTube trailer for the part in the in the game he was talking about. And I watched it for a little bit just to kind of remember, and I've forgotten a lot of that game. I forgot how good that game looked.
That game is great.
Like I kind of wish I had time to go back and play that one again because I had a lot of fun with Quantum Break. And like a lot of people complained about it, but the 20-minute breaks in between where you had like a little episode,
I loved it.
Was kind of great. I kind of liked sitting back and just watching a 20-minute cutscene. That was cool.
Plus Lance Reddick.
Right? Yeah. Lance, yeah. I mean, that thing is loaded with stars. Well, it was cool because the game was from the hero's perspective and then the episodes were from a villain's perspective. Then you eventually had a boss fight against that villain, but you just spent hours getting to know him and his situation. It was that. I thought it worked very well, and Quantum Break is severely underrated, although I also do not remember this moment, so I need to go back and replay it.
That's how I felt. I don't remember the moment either, and like it's like the most memorable thing for him, and I don't know. That was one of those played it and beat it over a weekend deals back then. You know what I mean?
It's just making me more and more sad, though, that Remedy doesn't get more love.
Yeah.
I think Control's created a bigger spark for them.
It has, but I mean,
obviously not sales wise, but
I just I want them to. I can't wait for their next game.
Right,
like a new IP or a Control 2.
Just in the same universe. I don't care.
Yeah, I want to see more of the Remedy gaming universe.
The RCU.
No, because it's not cinematic.
I was trying to be clever.
RGU.
RGU.
Right.
All right. Next comment comes from Sean Coates. I was trying to think of other examples besides the one I'm about to say, but torching the marijuana farm in Far Cry 3 with Skrillex and Damian Marley in the background. I'm not a Skrillex fan at all, but that song was a perfect fit for the action happening on screen. I agree with you, Sean. He goes on to say, actually, here's a better one. The entire Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 soundtrack.
I will wholeheartedly agree.
Well, hell yeah, dude. And the fact that they got most of it back for the re-release is insane.
It is insane. All right, you're up, Zach.
Yeah, I assume you line these up in just such a way where I read this comment. But Jordan Derringer writes in, City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is a great use of pop music in gaming. That song completely fits the tone of the level and amps me up for it every single time. Yeah, I mean, I listen to the song regularly still today when I need to get pumped up. He's absolutely right. City Escape is a banger. I just occasionally replay that level just so I can hear that song in context. He's right. It kicks ass.
Nice.
Follow my rainbow.
Moving on to Discord. CB, you're up.
Brandon Lloyd. Probably simple and clean in Kingdom Hearts opening sequences got me pumped.
I had to go look that one up because I had never heard it before, and I did not recognize it. But I don't have a huge love for that game, so it didn't really do much for me. But if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, I probably would.
It's an original song for the game by Itade Mikaru or something. Hikaru. So I mean, that's why you wouldn't recognize it from anywhere.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Thomas Beck says, I'm not sure if this counts, but there is a scene in Last of Us 2 that involves Aha's Take on Me, and it's pretty damn near perfect.
Wholeheartedly agree.
I thought it was pretty cool.
I would absolutely say that counts.
Mm-hmm.
I would not have thought original songs up for this category like Simple and Clean, or else I would have included the Silent Hill 3 soundtrack song that I cannot remember the name of, but I listen to that song very, very often.
Nice.
Anyway, sorry.
You're up, Zach.
Cody, Persona 5's Royal's Last Palace with it playing I Believe made me tear up. None of us have a point of reference for this.
I don't either. Yeah.
But thank you for sharing, Cody. Really appreciate that. I love Persona 3 and 4, and one day I will open up my copy of Persona 5 and play that.
Me too.
Today is not that day.
Not today.
And to Zaphical, Borderlands has always had some great music with the opening cinematic. Short Change Hero by The Heavy from Borderlands 2 is my absolute favorite. And the use of baby metal in Wonderlands just fits so damn well.
Wonderlands? I don't remember. Is that the new one?
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
Well, that's not. It must have been the trailer because that's not out yet, right?
Yeah, is that a Japanese girl band? Is that right?
Oh, it's Japanese metal band,
right?
Where the three lead singers are three young-looking girls that dress up like in like schoolgirl outfits, but then there's like heavy ass metal behind it. Like, and there's other singers like that do the throaty yelling stuff. I freaking love Baby Metal.
All right. Yeah, Ain't No Rest for the Wicked, that first Borderlands. They're forever linked in my mind.
Yeah, I can't hear that song without thinking of Borderlands. And I remember not liking Shortchange Hero as much because of just how iconic the first one was, but now that I've like look at it from a distance, I almost think the second one fits even better. With like the way that they kind of spun around and showed each character in the second one. I really do got to sit down and play through the original Borderlands again one of these times.
We'll just keep talking about it instead of doing it.
I know.
I actually just got hit with another one that just, as they were talking about that, reminded me, and Scott, you've recently played this one too.
Mm-hmm.
Jimi Hendrix's national anthem in Spec Ops: The Line.
You know, I thought about that. I didn't know, since it wasn't like, it's not a licensed song, so
it's the riff though.
And it was just in the title. Like, it wasn't like in the game itself.
No, it's in the game.
Where is it in the game? I don't remember it in the game.
At the beginning of one of the firefights, there's a radio that's playing it just as like, they're here, and everybody rushes, and it's playing on the radio right next to you.
I don't know why I don't remember that.
The Silent Hill 3 song I was thinking of is You're Not Here. I thought, and I implore everyone to listen to it.
Okay.
I just had to jump in with that.
Nice. I think I'm up. Am I up?
Yeah,
you're up.
Yeah.
Aaron Hughes II. This doesn't really count as in games, but it's what I recalled. Whenever I think of popular music used amazingly well in games other than rhythm games, I jump right into the Battlefields and Mercenaries. The Battlefield trailers, for the most part, have a tastefully remixed song that they build the trailers around and get you pumped. Then in Mercenaries 2, Ad had Oh No You Didn't. Brilliant. I am not familiar with that song.
I bought Mercenaries 2 because I saw the trailer with Oh No You Didn't.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's a great song, man.
Nice.
And Peter Stormare was in it as well, so that's good 1-2 punch.
Nice.
The brand new Battlefield, that rendition of Kickstart Your Heart by Baltic House Orchestra.
Is this for the new Battlefield?
Yeah.
Yeah, that game looks bad.
Oof.
Kickstart My Heart is such a get you pumped up song anyway.
Oh yeah, man.
Did either of you see the Dirt?
Nope, still haven't seen it.
No.
Oh my god. You gotta watch The Dirt, but like that when you like, because that's the song, like the first song that they play together, and they try to like invent their sound, and like the girl that's watching, her reaction is just kind of the same reaction I had. I love that movie. It's a dark movie though.
Did you see Shoot 'Em Up?
I did with Clive
Owen.
Clive Owen.
They use Kickstart
Carrots.
They use Kickstart My Heart while they have like a shootout while they're skydiving.
Oh really?
Pretty awesome.
Yep. I will never forget the scene where he shoots the back of a filing cabinet to push the drawer of the filing cabinet to hit a guy in the face, and that was how he killed him. I just thought that was amazing.
I think it's inventive from start to finish.
And isn't like Monica Bellucci, like he's trying to protect her because she's pregnant like the entire time? I don't know. We're getting off track.
Yeah, she lactates.
Topic.
Anyway, there's a sex scene / gunfight. That's a pretty great moment.
Yeah.
David Newman writes in, you might really think of them as punk, but I consider them as a punk to have a punk. Oh my God. David Newman writes in, you might really think of them as punk, but I consider them to have a pop punk flair. Whew. No matter what, All I Want by The Offspring in Crazy Taxi is iconic. Take away that song, and I doubt Crazy Taxi is as popular as it was. He is correct. Yeah.
Hate that song.
Love it. You're insane.
I hate that song because every time I go to any arcade ever that has Crazy Taxi, every 4.5 minutes that somebody is not playing that, it just loops. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate it.
And to be clear, when we say pop music, we don't mean pop as a genre. We mean like popular licensed music. So it totally fits. Let's see. CB, I think you're up.
Paul Hine, the use of the current pop music in all of GTA franchise, or probably even better, the use of 80s music in Vice City set to the environment. That game would not have impacted even 50% as much as it did when it came out without that soundtrack of time-accurate pop music. It made you believe that you were in that time period. Man, you ain't lying. I would just drive around Vice City listening to the radio.
100% agree, man.
Oh, and then again, like I said, every time Laszlo comes on, it's just great.
Yeah, you gotta really hand it to Rockstar that instead of doing the easy thing where you make another modern day game after 3, they went all the way back to the 80s.
Yeah, man, I would have just loved to have been there for like recording all those, like just the radio stations, because that had to take a significant amount of time,
especially for its time.
How much music was how many tracks are you talking? I replayed them, so I don't know.
God, like 100.
Yeah, because they released the soundtracks. It was like 9 or 10 discs.
Holy cow!
Because there's like 9 or 10 different channels that you can flip through, and each one has like a 1 to 3 hour play loop.
Right, and then on top of, and then the comedy, interstitials as well.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
Great. Yeah, and the great ads like petsovernight.com and stuff.
Yeah.
Good.
Zach, why don't you read the last one?
I've had a feeling I should. Jacob Gunderson writes, the opening to Drakengard gets me every time. I love how they got the scenes to fall in line with the music. I wish more companies put that kind of effort into making it not only fun to play, but something to grab your full attention. Jacob, well, I think this is a little left of topic. I'm going to allow it because you appeal directly to me. This felt like a straight shot to me and my heart. He is right. The opening cutscene to Drakengard is awesome, and music plays a weird theme in the game because it is bananas. But this game does have a great piece of dialogue when your friend turns evil and says, "Welcome to a world without song," and drops his harp to the ground. That is a metal line in a game that is otherwise confusing.
Also, Jacob is a horse.
What?
Yeah, you just got to be there, man. You wouldn't understand.
Does he play D&D?
He's in our D&D campaign.
Oh, okay.
His character is literally
he's an orc
raised by horses.
How
his name
often
is
does Drakengard come up in your D&D sessions?
Not often.
Not once.
I don't like that.
Okay, well, that was a fun topic. Zach, thanks so much for the idea. Next week is going to be the first of the month. I believe it's the first, November 1st will be the first episode of the month, which means we're coming back to community questions. So I'm going to be hitting everybody up on social media, Discord, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Are we going to do a TikTok? We need to do a TikTok.
Sure, yeah.
CB, next time we get together on Saturday, we should record a short TikTok and ask people for community questions and see if we get any traction there. It's one of my favorite episodes to do, just to see what random stuff you guys come up with. Really looking forward to it. But that is going to do it for this episode of The Gaming Outsider. Zach, any parting words or suggestions for the community before we are done?
Honestly, not really, man. I was so the deadline we had for Guardians of the Galaxy was so tight, which I know is like the most first world problem in the world, that I have not had time to really do anything. I've just been working and then coming home playing Guardians and then taking a brief nap. And because playing 25 hours of a game during a busy work week turns out it's not the easiest thing in the world. So I did not do a lot of stuff other than watch a little bit of Ted Lasso Season 2 and Nate sucks. That's my assessment of the situation.
I will try not to respond to that.
Well, you've seen Season 2, right?
I have.
Oh, man. There was a scene where he whistles at his parents, and in the episode I just watched, like a dog, and Nate is now an irredeemable character to me.
I'm trying to contain myself. So, CB, what about you? Anything you'd like to recommend everybody do?
I have an anti-recommendation.
Okay.
Is it Dune?
M. Night Shyamalan's new movie.
Oh, really? I kind of wanted to see it.
It's awful.
I haven't heard great things.
I haven't either.
It's so disappointing because I loved his first 3 films, and since then he has wildly proven that he cannot make a good movie to me.
He's just very inconsistent.
The Devil was pretty decent.
He wasn't he just a producer?
I think he was.
Was he? Oh, well,
yeah. But
my
God.
People like The Visit quite a bit.
Oh, that was with the crazy grandma? Yeah, I like that one.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he just an executive producer?
No, that one was
it.
it. That one was it. That one was it.
Okay. That was okay, but it was predictable. But man, this movie just the acting is atrocious.
Is there not like a good payoff on that? Because it seems like such a great concept.
No, it's not.
I'm still gonna watch it.
It by the time it ended, I was just like, I wasted like this much time of my life. I would have rather watched something else.
Huh.
So it's severely disappointing.
That's unfortunate. So I have a random weird recommendation that you guys are gonna make fun of me for.
My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. You finally caught up on the series.
No, not that. Over the past, I'll say 9 months, I have taken considerable care to take care of my skin. True story. I have actually invested in some products to exfoliate, cleanse, and moisturize my face twice a day. And
remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.
No. I'm telling you, and this is not I'm not being sponsored by this company anyway, but I'm recommending these products and wholeheartedly enjoy these products. I actually look forward to using them every day.
What is the products?
Labri, L''BRI, and I actually have a rep. Her name is Kelly Kufal. She actually is a girl I went to. Not at all. I mean, it works like Avon in that, but yeah, I'm not making any money. I'm not selling it.
Multi-level marketing.
Right. Multi-level marketing.
Pyramid scheme. All right.
But in all seriousness, I genuinely love these products, and they last forever. I've had this one bottle for about 5 months now, and I'm still not done with it. So there will be a link in the show notes if you're interested. And Kelly is a good friend of mine, and it would help her out if you're interested. I'm telling you, the cleanser stuff really. I don't. Do you guys ever see anything on my face?
For those of you kids out there in Radio Land, for those of us that actually know Scott Clark, he likes to keep himself fairly pretty.
He does. I mean,
he's playing with his hair right now.
Always with the hair. He's a big hair guy. I mean, it's okay. Take care of yourself.
It's his shtick.
Whatever
it's his shtick
makes you happy. You want to be the pretty. You're like the lead singer of the band, right? So you got to be out there and being pretty.
I mean, come on. It is Scott Clark and the Gaming Outsider.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He is the face of the product.
I'm trying to make an actual honest to God recommendation. Look at you guys.
You said it before you even said it. We're gonna make fun of you.
I know. I shouldn't. I figured I was.
We love you. We love you, Scott
I appreciate that you are yourself. How about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Admirable quality in anybody.
I'm just gonna give you a hard time about it. I mean, I'm not gonna say like, hey, don't do this. But you do you, man.
There will be a link in the show notes.
This ain't pretty. I can't fix this.
It's us. I feel you know what? I've never really had a strong desire to look pretty, so I'm content.
It's not about looking pretty. It's just about feeling. It makes you feel good.
I want you to feel good.
Who am I impressing? Looking pretty. You guys think I'm like trying to look pretty? This is obviously not looking pretty. There's nothing pretty going on up here. Anyway, everybody that stuck around for this long, thank you so much for listening. The Gaming Outsider is produced by Nate Lucas, and all of the music you hear is written and performed by Grant Henry of Stemage and Metroid Metal, soon to be featured on a Metroid arcade machine, which I'm going to be seeing this Friday finally.
Yes. Pinball machine, right?
Pinball machine, yes. Thank you for clarifying that. Please be sure to email us if you have any questions or concerns. Our address is feedback@thegamingoutsider.com. Until next week, I'm Scott Clark with Zach Parkerson and Chris Behrensmeyer, and we are The Gaming Outsider. And remember, there's no such thing as a bad game, just games that aren't for you.